Hi everyone, welcome to Lucy Yogini. I'm Lucy and today we're going to do a nice little practice for all you gorgeous mamas. So this is for pregnancy in all its stages and beyond. So if you feel like you just need a gentle practice, ease out some aches or maybe some tensions or just kind of relax, then welcome. Let's get started. So finding a nice comfortable seat. I'm sitting up on a cushion here. I suggest you might like to do the same, just to ease the hips a little bit and make sure that we have this kind of upright feeling in the pelvis, so we're not dropping back onto, and kind of rolling onto the lower back. So once you kind of find that place, you can have a little shuffle around for a moment, adjust what you need to adjust, and then we're just going to settle in. Just start by coming to stillness, and cross-legged is a nice place to be. If you have issues with hips and it's just not the right thing, jump up on a chair or somewhere comfortable. A lovely one of those big bouncy exercise balls is also a nice place to be, but just somewhere where we can sit for a moment and just start to settle in. Maybe close the eyes. And tuning into the breath. So a lovely breathing exercise for all times of life, but particularly during pregnancy and in preparation for birth, is our golden thread breath. So we breathe in through the nose and make a tiny gap between the lips as we breathe out, out of the mouth, that tiny gap. You might like to imagine a golden thread escaping, traveling off into space. So breathing in through the nose, drawing up from behind your baby, rising up gently through the spine. And that softening exhale, soft lips, soft mouth, just a gentle, tiny space to thread that exhale out and away. Lengthening the exhale as much as we can, without any strain, without any force. We're just letting that breath ease out and away. So continuing with that breath, if it feels okay for you. And remembering that if we can keep our mouth and jaw soft, then there's an automatic response, weirdly but beautifully, in and around the hips to soften as well. So if you're feeling tense, or as you approach birth and during birth as well, and beyond, because believe me, I use this breath a lot, and my children are much older now, but this calming breath and the softening of the mouth and the lips automatically softens the hips. So during birth, we want to keep all of the body soft so everything can move as it should. Really focus on the softening with the exhale and the energy drawn in with the inhale. So you might just want to take one or two more breaths like that, knowing that we can always return to it whenever you want or need to. And then just gently allowing the eyes to open, flutter open. Stay with that softness in the face, in the jaw. We might find that little tensions creep back in. That's okay, we can always come back. And we'll just circle the shoulders. So nice big loops with the shoulders. So nice and slow, drawing up towards the ears and then dropping the shoulder blades all the way back and down. Crunch, crunch, crunch. And then gently letting that go. We might re-soften the hands and the arms. And then we'll just gently drop one ear towards its corresponding shoulder. So right ear to right shoulder if you're mirroring me here. And keeping the shoulders soft and down. We're not lifting the shoulders to the ears, just gently the ear to the shoulder, and then the head back to center, and then to the opposite side. And then come back to center. And then imagine that you're going to draw a circle with your nose. So we're going to make that circle as big or as small as feels comfortable for you and your neck. So just drawing a nice circle with your nose. And as you do that, just take some awareness to where the neck and spine meet the base of the skull. And just feel that movement, that joint, you know, the wonder of this body, all connected. And then when you have a few circles in that direction, we might turn the circle around in the opposite direction. These nice slow circles, dropping chin towards the chest, lifting the nose up towards the sky a little bit at the top of that circle. And then when you feel ready, just gently letting the head come back to center and neutral, and you might, and just again thinking about the head over the heart, over the hips, this lifting upwards through the spine, and taking a nice long deep breath here. Again, coming back to that golden thread breath if it's useful for you. And then taking the hands onto the knees, we're going to make some circles here with the upper body. So we're just going to kind of stir the pot here. So maybe just moving around, so the upper part of the body kind of stays in one piece, as it were. So we're just rolling over the sit bones. And if you're sat up on a chair or on a exercise ball, then you can still do this. It might feel a little bit more that the hips are moving as well, but same idea. We're just kind of rolling over the lower body, just making some contact with the floor, and we can maybe put the hands on the knees just to keep that balance of the body and a little bit of resistance maybe in the shoulders. So once we've gone in one direction for a few circles, we can come back in the opposite direction. Spirals really useful and important to think about, particularly during pregnancy and birth. You know, the idea of the baby turning in the womb, and when it comes to birth, you know, that little spin that they do to come out through the birth canal, all perfectly designed. You don't need to get involved too much, just trusting in the process. So you might find, as we do this, you might find that there are places, maybe in your hips or you know, kind of where, you know, base of your kind of bum kind of bit, where it might feel nice just to really lean into those areas. So feel free to do that. So really exploring what movement feels most useful for you here. And then gently starting to make that spiraling, circling movement, come back to stillness. And we'll come back to sit up nice and tall through the spine. So when you're ready, maybe just taking the hands behind for support as we uncross the legs if we're seated on the floor. And we'll just give the legs a little shake out here, just nice and gently. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together. So we're going to bring the knees in, of course, keep some space for your belly, and then turn the soles of the feet together, let the knees open out to the sides. So do be sat up on a cushion or a block here. Inhale, we're going to lift up through the spine a little bit, and then exhale, just easing forwards again. And you might just place the hands to the floor, either side of your feet, maybe onto the feet. But we don't want to push beyond what feels available to us. So keep it nice and soft. Just find the place where we start to feel this inner thigh area and inner hip area opening a little touch. Don't push beyond that. Stay with that sensation and return back to the breath. See if we can find the softness of that exhale to ease in, settle in, close the eyes. Threading the breath out and away. As we inhale, feel the breath creating space. We might feel really full, depending on where you are in your pregnancy. But you know, this kind of idea of creating space with the breath around the baby, around the body, and softening with the exhale. Keep the head nice and soft. Check that we're not crunching or tensing up too much through the jaw. And then gently we'll start to lift back to center. And bringing the knees back up when you're ready. And again, using hands for support as much as you need to. We're going to take the feet out to one side and slowly make our way through onto our hands and knees. Just move the cushion out of the way for a moment as we come to our tabletop position. So wrists underneath the shoulders and knees underneath the hips. And this for me was probably one of the most helpful movements you could do. And we're just going to circle the hips here. So just think about moving the hips in a way that feels right for you and your body and where you are right now. So you might isolate the hips a little bit and circle that around again. Notice if there are parts that feel particularly tight that maybe might benefit from kind of, you know, leaning into it a little bit more. Move really slowly, really carefully, not pushing beyond what feels useful and comfortable. We're not going for the burn here. This is not the time. Keeping it soft. Make the focus be about creating ease in your body, a connection with your baby, and just taking time to honor this incredible body. So when you're ready, we'll just gently take the knees a little wider and maybe bring the big toes together a little bit and draw the hips back towards the heels. So again, depending on where you are in your pregnancy, you might just rest the elbows down. It might be that the floor is still an option for you, in which case feel free to take the forehead down. Or again, we can use our pillow if you've got bolster. Bolster's nice to use here as well. And just rest the head and maybe a little bit of the chest as well onto a cushion or a bolster. And this is a really lovely restorative place to be anyway. So feel free to take any parts of this practice and just do that. You know, if this is a good place to be, hang out here for as long as you want. And if you've got the head turned to one side, then after a few moments, then just turn the head in the opposite direction. And then when you're ready, we'll start to lift ourselves back to our tabletop position. So bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And we're going to come through to a little variation of cow and cat here. So stay at neutral and then take a nice long inhale here. And with the exhale, we're going to round through the back, press the breath out and away, drawing the crown of the head and the tailbone down towards the ground a little bit. And then with the inhale, just come back to neutral. So moving with the breath. Inhale here, exhale, lifting the belly up a little bit, crown of the head, tailbone down. Open up across the back of the shoulders as much as you can. And again, inhale, back to our neutral points, and exhale. So following the breath, really make that something to practice, as that is going to be so useful to you when birthday comes. And beyond, believe me, it's all good. But that breath is ever powerful. So following the breath. So one more time, inhale here, exhale, lift the belly up, crown of the head, tailbone down, and then coming back to our neutral spine. We might just want to ease back a little bit. So nice to stretch out the feet here. Often we get a little bit of cramp, so nice to give the feet a little stretch here. If you can tuck your toes under, sit back on the heels a little bit, and we'll give the shoulders a nice little wriggle around here, and maybe the hands a little stretch and a wriggle. You might give the wrists a nice turn around here as well, and they'll shake out. And then we're going to rise up to a high kneeling pose here, and then Steady yourself as much as you need to. Bring, I'm going to take my left foot forward here first. So we're going to come into a nice gentle lunge here. So maybe bringing the hands to the inside of that front foot. Walk the left foot out to the left side of the mat a little bit. Make some room. And we're just going to stay here for a moment. So we might already be feeling quite a big stretch going on in the hips, and particularly in the front of that right hip, making some space in the front of that right hip and thigh. Lovely to stretch it out, feeling good. Nice long deep breath here. Find a gentle smile and a deeper breath. So here might be enough. You might want to just hang out here, or we can even include a little bit of circling of the hips here as well. So just gently kind of circling as much as feels comfortable, exploring a little bit of movement. So we don't need to stay static. We don't need to hold anything. Think of this flowy process, you know, the whole thing, all of life, but particularly when we're pregnant and during birth, we want to keep this gentle movement going to keep everything flowing, staying soft. Come back to relaxing the jaw, relaxing the hips, softening the belly. So if you've been circling one direction, take it in the other direction. Be gentle with knees. If you need to put some padding underneath that right knee here, we can do that, of course. Put a rolled blanket underneath or a pillow. And then coming back to center. And I'm just going to take my hands kind of either side of this front foot and ease back here, just a touch. So we're going to draw the hips back towards the back kind of edge of the mat and open up the front of this the back of this left leg a little bit, lifting the toes up towards the sky, just a touch. Nice long inhale and exhale. So we're lengthening the back of the leg here, can feel really nice, particularly if we have kind of any sciatic kind of issues, can be quite nice to ease that out. And then gently walking the foot back to the floor, bring the hands back to the mat inside of that front foot. And then I'm just gonna scoop that one back and away. And let's take the knees nice and wide and draw back into our child pose, whatever variation you like. Maybe head to the floor, maybe resting on the elbows, maybe bring your cushion back, or rest the head onto the arms. Take a nice long deep breath here. And then nice and slowly, when you're ready, we're going to start to roll back up to all fours. Bring the knees back underneath the hips a little bit, wrists underneath the shoulders. Have a little wriggle out here if you want to, circling the hips, maybe figure of eight kind of shape through the spine, move in a way that feels right for you and your body right now. Come back to neutral when you're ready. We're going to move the hands over to the left side of the mat a little touch as we bring the right foot forward and keep that right foot on the right side of the mat. And again, we can kind of have a little wriggle back and forth here before we settle into our little lizard lunge. Give the shoulders a little roll back and shine the heart forwards. We might just stay here for a moment or two. Nice long deep breath. Threading that exhale out and away. And then if you want to include just a little circling of the hips here, we can. So, you know, make some space to do this. Have the hands kind of out towards the left-hand side a little bit more. And that creates some space and some stability to really feel into the hips. And remembering that we can make the movements as big or as small as feels comfortable for you on any given day, wherever you might be in your pregnancy and life and energy and all of those things. Lovely. So protect the knees. Have that knee padded at the back there if you need to. And once you've done some circles in one direction, move them in the other way as well. And we'll come back to center and then gently just bringing the hands either side of that front foot, wriggling the right foot towards the center of the mat just a little bit. And then we'll ease the hips back and lift the right toes up, roll the shoulders back a little bit, shine the heart forward, relaxing the back of the neck, keeping that right knee soft, just easing the hips back and the heart forward, creating that space. Lovely. And then gently walking it forwards again and moving the hands so we can wriggle that right foot back. I'm going to take off my socks here a little bit as we come into a little bit more of a strengthening practice. So if we come back to our tabletop position first of all, we can take a little movement through the spine. We can come back to our cow and cat. So stay neutral to breathe in and exhale. Lift the belly up, crown of the head, tailbone down. And again, inhale, back to neutral. And exhale. And come back to our neutral point. I'm going to send that left foot away. So left toes to the floor and just gently pressing the heel out, back and away. So I know I'm in a little ray of sunshine there, but hopefully you can see that as I breathe in, I'm drawing my heel towards me a little bit and exhaling, sending that heel away. With the next inhale, draw the heel in, press the ground away through the arms and lifting that heel up in line with the spine. So gathering the front body to the back body, hug your baby in towards your body a little closer, as much as that's possible, that idea. And then maybe if you want to take the opposite arm as well, you can do that, but keep the hand down on the floor if you prefer. And then we'll bring the hand and knee back down to the ground. Same thing to the other side. So when you're ready, right toes back, sending the heel away. Inhale, draw the heel in. Exhale, send the heel away. Inhale and exhale. And one more time. Inhale and exhale. Send the heel away. Inhale, draw that heel in a touch. Lengthen through the arms. See if you can lift that heel up in line with the spine. Press the ground away. Keep smiling, still breathing. And if you want to take the opposite arm as well, feel free to practice that. But don't feel you need to. Reach and extend a little bit and then bring the hand and knee back down to the ground. Lovely stuff. So if we take the hands just a step further forward, tuck the toes under, inhale and draw the hips back. Keep the knees at nice hip distance apart, at least maybe wider. And then if you fancy it, maybe trying a little downward facing dog. If you're used to doing yoga before you were pregnant, then this might feel like a nice thing to do. If this feels too strong for you, we can stay with our child pose. Always a nice option. So wherever you are, taking that nice long breath again, maybe lengthening through the back body, lifting the tailbone a little higher. Knees can stay really nice and soft. Let's keep that ease available to us. And then gently we'll start to walk the hands towards the feet towards the hands, and take a nice wide-ish forward fold. So have the feet at least hip distance apart, maybe slightly wider, probably slightly wider. And then give the shoulders a little shimmy out and the head a little shake and nod. And then very slowly, we're going to start to lift up. So using the hands on the legs as support as we roll up through the spine, standing up slowly and gently, and give the shoulders a nice turn back again, and the hands a little shake out. And then let's take the feet even wider here. So come to the side of your mat, side onto your mat. And we're going to take the heels slightly in and the toes slightly out here. And then gathering some energy from the ground. So imagine that we're scooping up from the earth as we lift up to the sky, lengthen through the arms, and then opening the arms out to the side, elbows nice and wide, hands nice and soft, and then coming down into our goddess stance. If ever you felt like a goddess, surely it is now. Shoulders back, elbows nice and wide, heart gently lifted. That long breath again. So maybe we start to explore a slightly deeper breath here as we find that more intensity in the shape and in the sensation. There's more of a kind of stronger breath out, maybe through the nose, our Ujjayi breath. And this again can be useful, particularly during the end part of our labor. But it's all good. This breath will be, help to access your power. You have it. You have all that you need. So inhale, lifting up nice and tall. Maybe bring the hands together overhead. I might have disappeared on the camera here. And then gently bring that back through to the heart. Lovely. So when you're ready, again, we're going to start to bend the knees, gather energy from the ground. Inhale, lifting up. Lengthen through the legs a little bit as we lift up, and exhale, open back out into that goddess pose. Lovely. Bring the hands through to the heart here. Stay with the legs like this if you can. If we need to lengthen through the legs, no problem to do that either. So keeping this nice openness in the front body and the inner thighs, hands at the heart. Nice long in breath here. With the exhale, I'm going to press my palms forward. Exhale away. Inhale, bring the palms together and draw back through to heart center. And exhale, this time I'm sending my hands and palms out to the side. Inhale, turning the palms upwards, lengthen through the legs and rise upwards. Palms together overhead. Exhale, bring the prayer back through to the heart. Either keep the legs lengthened or maybe coming back into our goddess stance. Inhale here. Exhale, press the breath out and in front. Inhale, gather that energy back to the heart. Exhale, sending it out to the side. Create that bubble of power and protection as we inhale, lifting up to the sky, palms come together overhead, and exhale, bring the prayer back through to the heart. One more time if you want to, either with the legs in goddess stance or lengthened. Inhale here. Exhale, press the breath out and away. Inhale, gather it back to the heart. And exhale, out to the sides. Create the space. Inhale, taking the palms up overhead, lengthen through the legs, create our bubble of power and protection. And exhale, gathering the prayer, the power back to the heart. Lovely job. We'll take the arms out to the sides again here. Taking the left toes to point directly to the back of the mat, the original back of the mat, and the right toes are going to come slightly in, heel slightly away as we come into our warrior pose. Virabhadrasana, drop the shoulders down, we're going to bend slightly into that front leg, lifting the chin as we extend out through the arms. Back palm comes down, back to the back thigh, front palm turns up to the sky as we reach it forward a little bit and lift it up and back, and slightly drawing towards the kind of that edge of the mat, the back of the mat. Lovely, opening up the rib cage, creating some space through the front of the body, and then coming back into our warrior pose. Lovely, lengthening through that front leg, we're going to switch it around, so turning the left toes in, right toes out to the original top of the mat, and lengthening through the arms. Lift the chin slightly here and bend into that right knee, knee above the ankle, no further than that. Make the step wider if you need to. Lifting the chin slightly, take the back palm down, front palm open, scoop it forwards, and lifting all the way into our little reverse warrior. Create this space through the side body and the rib cage. And then guiding it back into our warrior two pose. Nice proud warrior, lifting the chin, extending out in every direction. And then gathering the hands back to the heart, lengthen through that front leg, and we'll bring the right toes back to face the side of the mat. And then we'll heel toe the feet a little close together, still wider than the hips. So we're going to come into a little malasana here. So I'm going to start to sit my bum down. So you might want to use something for support. We might grab a block or something to sit your bum down on here, or come to with something behind you so you're not going to fall back. So if you need a wall behind you or a sturdy settee or something like that, no problem. If you can get the heels down, great. If you don't, also great. We're going to take the elbows to the inside of the knees and thighs. Palms come together if you can. Think about drawing the prayer shape towards the kind of center of the chest, so the forearms are in line. You feel that pressure between the palms, and the elbows pushing into the inner thighs a little bit, and we can lift the heart and the shoulders drop down, and we're creating all this lovely space. And again, you might want to think about this kind of shape when birthday comes. Naturally shortening the birth canal and making everything kind of easy to get towards the ground. Lovely. So maybe just taking a moment to close the eyes. And then releasing the hands down to the floor. If you can, maybe reaching to the floor with the left fingertips, pressing the arm just gently into the inner thigh and knee here as we open the the right arm out to the side. Lovely. And then we'll swap it over. So taking right fingertips down to the floor to press into the left, I'm all over the place, right thigh and knee, and opening up in the opposite side. Lovely. And then bring it back to center and just gently crawl it forwards here until we can bring our knees back down to the floor. Coming back to our tabletop position. Inhale here. Exhale. Open up the back. And again, inhale back to neutral. And exhale. Opening up the back. And coming back to neutral. Take the knees nice and wide, toes kiss together. Drawing back into our child pose. Find a support for the head or the body. Really fine tune the comfort here. Find a place where you can soften. Feel supported. Release the shoulders. And if you have the head turned in one direction, just turning to look in the opposite direction. And then whenever you're ready, we'll slowly start to lift up. Slowly take the feet out to one side. Extend the legs in front for a moment. So we'll give the legs a little shake out, get all the blood kind of flowing and muscles jiggling there. Give the hands a little shake out as well. And then lifting one knee in towards you a little touch. We're going to keep some space here, kind of between the legs. Taking, so if you're mirroring me, the right knee in and right arm just to the inside of that right knee and thigh. And the left fingertips behind. Inhale, grow upwards, and exhale, just gently opening out into a gentle twist. The opposite leg. And taking the twist in the opposite. And then gently coming back to center when you're ready. Extending both legs out in front again. Give them a little shake out. And then we're going to come to lie down for a moment. So moving to whichever side really works for you. Have a few cushions here, have a blanket. So we're going to lay on our side. Create some space for the shoulders. So have a cushion underneath your head. You might want to put a cushion underneath this top knee. So if you bend the top leg and have a cushion to support that upper leg, extend the lower leg away. And grab a blanket, cover yourself up. Fine tune the comfort. Close your eyes. And just take a moment to take in the whole body. Soften across the forehead and the temples and the jaw. Softening through the throat and neck. Shoulders, no effort. Gentle curves of the spine. Baby held close to you, supported, safe. Softening through the long muscles of the legs. And trusting in the process. Trusting in your perfectly designed body. And trusting in your baby that they know exactly what to do. Gently returning back to the breath whenever you need to. trusting in the flow of all things. Feel free to stay here as long as time allows, as long as you need. I hope this has been helpful to you. Lots of love to you all. Take care. Namaste.